Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back if you are a returner. Today we're going to focus on what is my life path, am I on the right path, and any other messages that your guides or angels who have come to help and facilitate this reading today want to communicate to you. So, as usual, we're going to set our intention together as we light the candle. Today I have a tropical candle that was made locally, and as we light this, we're going to set the intention that this is going to help us with our life path, our life purpose, and help us align with the version of ourselves that is the most desirable and is going to fulfill something that our soul has already decided for us before we came into this life. With this blue candle, this is going to set the intention that it connects with our throat chakra, with our higher guidance that wants to communicate clearly and effectively with us. And finally, I'm going to light this in the candle, but this incense, which is jasmine, is going to help us connect with our heart-centered truth, help us with any protection that we need from energies that are trying to guide us down a path or in a direction that does not serve our higher good. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the piles. We have pile 1. So, if you're going to choose pile 1, this is going to be the pile. Pile 2, we have this pile here. And pile 3, we have this pile. So once more, before we head into the reading for pile 1, I'm going to spray a peaceful mist, which is lavender scented, to help us ground ourselves and select a pile that is going to help us move forward and bring us the wisdom that we need. So otherwise, without further ado, let's get into pile 1. Howdy, pile 1. If you selected pile 1, I'm going to start your reading on are you on the right path? What is your life path? And what steps can you take at this current moment with the energy that you're emitting to align yourself with a higher frequency or a frequency that is more suited for your life purpose? So, let's get into the cards. So I already have them all laid out here, and I wanted to start by saying that I think you're doing a really good job, pile 1. I definitely think that you are headed in a direction that is suited for you, and you're trying to align all of your moral beliefs in with your spiritual beliefs, in with your beliefs about yourself and others, and how you interact with the world as well. So I definitely think that this is a time in your life where you're kind of philosophically understanding what is my life philosophy, what is my moral belief behind the way that I interact with the world in terms of something I'm thinking of is shopping, the way that you collect friends, who you have in your inner circle, the types of relationships that you have as well. So we have the King of Cups, and I feel like this is describing you right now, pile 1. And then in terms of how it's describing you, I do think that this is getting your emotions in check, trying to help you understand how you can be a better friend, a better stranger, a better partner, a better family member, a better child to your parents, that kind of a thing. So you're definitely understanding where your current position is in terms of your social life. So I do think that this is a good sign in terms of your emotions. I do feel like recently you have been balancing those emotions. You've tried to understand okay, maybe in the past I was just reacting to situations and circumstances, but now I do feel like you are desiring for a more intentional way of living, especially emotionally. You want to be a more emotionally intelligent person. You want to be able to respond to people in a way that you would want somebody to respond to you, and vice versa. So also, I'm picking up that this may indicate that you're a water sign, so you may be Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, or just have one of your top 3 in a water placement house. So that could be 4th, 8th, or 11th house. So take that. But we also have here, there's a larger message that I feel like is coming through for you, and it's more in terms of your finances. So I feel like career-wise, work-wise, whatever projects that you do, I feel like some of you, especially with that water energy, could be kind of a creative person. So you do a lot of art. This could be poetry for some of you, reading, writing, that kind of a thing. Or I'm feeling it's more of a literature thing. Some of you, it could be like painting, drawing, filmmaking as well. But we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and right as I turned these cards over, I was like, okay, I need a clarifier on this, because I don't want to just tell you that you're not doing the work or the right work. I wasn't quite sure if it's the right work or what it was, but we got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse to clarify that. So I do feel like this is possibly you're doing the right work. You've stepped in the right direction in terms of your career, but the long-term goal, I feel like, needs to be a little bit clearer in your own mind if you want to manifest this work into something that is going to be something of a career. So let's say you have decided recently, okay, I want to be a full-time like freelance graphic designer, or I want to be a full-time mural artist, or I want to be a full-time poet, I want to be a full-time writer, something like that. I feel like this is Spirit urging you in the direction of understanding that if you're going to commit to that, you need to say I am. I'm not saying like I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be an author. You say I am. So that kind of affirmative statement is really going to help you manifest this. I think your social network, or also the people that you work with, is going to be really important for this group as well. So I apologize also that there's a lot of harsh lighting, but that's shifting, so bear with me on that. But your social circle and the people that you work with are going to be very important for you right now too. Making connections with people. If you're gonna go into some type of artistic field or go into, I feel like there's like, you're being urged in the direction of a somewhat unconventional like career type path. So there's something that has to do with believing in yourself, because you also have the Fool here. So this is like going on a journey that is new, stepping into energy that is possibly unfamiliar to you, something that you're going to have to be somewhat of a trailblazer for, and that requires you to have some type of goal in mind, or have some type of loose, okay, like I don't care so much about how much money I have, but I want to feel good. That's like a goal. That's how you manifest something. So for you, I really do feel like it is understanding that the work that you do in between is going to ultimately get you there. So like, if let's say you're a painter or you're a writer and you're doing your work, and usually you're doing it from a place of trying to understand your own emotions or something, or like get something out. But now, since you're trying to turn this into a career, thinking like, okay, I'm going to paint my heart out, I'm going to paint like my life depends on it, that kind of a thing, where you have that drive within you, that you're also focused on your goal at the same time. There's something about just your focus being placed on the long term. And also, if you are so focused on like the monetary value of what you're doing or what you're going to get back, it also could make it so that you are shifting your motivation to be extrinsic, so that you are focused on the reward that you're going to get rather than the fulfillment that you're going to get from doing the work. So I think that there's like somewhat of a balance that needs to occur between why you're doing something, how it's going to make you feel, but also how it's going to fulfill you in the long term, and envisioning yourself in that role. We then have the Page of Wands and then the Six of Wands in reverse, and I do feel like, again, this has to do with others and with the networking aspect. I feel like Spirit's really calling on you, whoever chose pile 1, to reach out to the people that are doing similar things to you, not in terms of comparing yourself. So don't go out and look for other people who are doing similar things to you, to compare your work to what they're doing, but look at their work to see how they're going about, like if it's marketing that you're having an issue with, if it is like finding a publisher, if it is content things, like like seeing the methodology with which somebody uses their tools to create, the types of techniques that other people embody, that kind of a thing. So you're gaining inspiration, like this Knight of Wands. You're going out and you're finding the inspiration in other work to fuel your own work, but not like taking or comparing yourself to that other artist, because everyone's expression is unique. If you're also not an artist, this could just be like the way that somebody is handling a situation, the way that somebody is using their job or their career, or the way that they want to make a mark on the world. It could also be spiritually as well, the way that somebody is handling that energy and expressing themselves in that way, but also not getting caught up in our ego, not seeing this as a fulfillment or a way to aggrandize our concept of ourself. So I do think that this is somewhat a message about like humbling yourself, about seeing yourself as having the potential to grow, having the potential to evolve, and accepting change as it happens as well, and accepting criticism from others. If you do go out and connect with other people and find that, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I have been approaching something in the wrong way, allowing yourself to be able to recognize your mistake. Or maybe not even if it's a mistake, but recognize that maybe that doesn't serve you anymore, and not be so hard on yourself if that is the case. But then also not seeing yourself as being too good for improvement. That was also something that came through. So I touched on the Fool a little bit, but I think that this is just a cheery reminder from your guides that you always have the potential to be molding and shifting and changing yourself, and being in a Fool or like a student mentality. I think that that's something that is important for you on the continuation of your path to keep going in the right direction. Finally, we have your oracle cards, and these are actually both master numbers that came out, 11 and 33. So 33 reminds me of like Christ consciousness and ascended masters being present and helping you to learn the things that you need to learn. So again, there's this touch on learning, but it's miracle and belief. So miracle, I think, is you being in the right place in the right time. So I would watch out like in the coming days or in the coming week, because this feels very close to you energy, to whenever you see this. But I do feel like you are going to have some kind of information come your way that you are not expecting to come your way, but it's going to help you a lot, and it is kind of exactly what you're looking for without knowing that that's what you were looking for. So I do feel like there's some kind of inspiration, something that is coming that is going to help you. And both of these cards do mention us being a part of source, source energy communicating with us, being part of like an innate part of who we are. So there is a connection to source and a connection to your spiritual self that is about to occur and that is going to deepen. So I do feel like you are really tapping into your spiritual energy and your spiritual understanding of yourself as a part of source. And then the belief, which is also again touching on that manifestation part that I was touching into with the other cards here, that Pentacles energy that you have with you. The belief in that, the belief that your goals will be met, that if you outline things that you want your life to embody, that you are going to be able to receive that in a physical form. So the belief in source, the belief that the energy that we send out is going to come back to us is really important for you, Pile 1. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I was also very honored to read for you today, Pile 1. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you in another video. Bye! Howdy Pile 2, if you selected Pile 2, this is going to be your life path reading, and we're just going to touch a little bit on the path that you're on and where you should go next, and any advice that your spirit guides and angels may have for you. So I wanted to start with the cards that I feel go together about where you kind of currently are at right now, like the frequency that is being emitted from you in terms of like directing you. So we have the Hierophant, the Nine of Wands in reverse, and then the Three of Wands in reverse. So I do feel like the Hierophant here is representing some belief systems that you've carried for a long time. These could possibly be from childhood or also from family members. It's just something that's kind of ingrained within you, and things that also, for some of you, this could be like close friend groups that share the same belief systems as you. I do feel like a lot of friendships and relationships are, maybe if they're not falling away, they're changing for you. So there's something about things kind of being unlocked for you in terms of like doors, different opportunities for your social life. Sorry. But I do feel like this is you going in different directions socially, seeing that there's maybe more opportunities available to you in terms of like the human connections that you have in life. So also with the Nine of Wands and then the Three of Wands that are both in reverse, I feel like this has to do with your spirituality. So these are belief systems that directly impact the way that you have a concept of source, the way that you have a concept of the universe, the way that you have a concept of possibly religious things as well. You may have been somebody that was very strongly devout towards a certain religious ideology, and things have kind of been stripped away from you recently in terms of those belief systems, in terms of how you interact with the world, how your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, and all of that interacts with the world. And I do feel like that's why it's affected your social life, because you've realized that you want to have people in your social circles that reflect similar beliefs to yourself. So I do feel like that is something that was a good choice for you. That's something that is bringing you on the right path, and it's pushing you towards a lot more positive or energy that serves us more, right? And I think that you kind of, what I'm hearing for you, especially with this Three of Wands in reverse, that I didn't get to touch on all that much so far, is that this card is representing a pathway that you could have gone down that would have ultimately been fulfilling, and you would have reached the same conclusions, but you saved yourself some time, you saved yourself some energy, being able to make this transformation earlier rather than later. And the more that you resist that transformation with the Nine of Wands in reverse, the more that you resist this path that you're headed down, the more that you are going to feel that frustration, because you know that you're trying to go back into a version of yourself, into energy systems that you've outgrown. So I feel like that may be the reason that you have a little bit of discomfort regarding where you're at, and you have some questions regarding, am I on the right path? Am I going the right way? And I think that the answer is definitely a very strong yes. I got a very overwhelming yes when I was channeling cards for this group. So I do think that you are headed in the right direction, and because you're feeling that doubt, that frustration, that deep, like heavy energy, that is the confirmation. So if you experience energy that is it's somewhat confusing, it's somewhat doubt-ridden, at another point in your life later, you're going to realize, okay, I am on the right path. I am going in the right direction, and that's why I am facing this kind of resistance, because when we're growing, it's like that growing pain, like we feel a little uncomfortable, and that is to help us, it's kind of our own way of protecting our energy when we are in an unfamiliar situation. So it's just the unfamiliarity, it's not that you're on the right, or that you're, on the wrong direction, going the wrong direction, right? So we have two aces. That's why I know that you're headed somewhere new and fantastic, because we have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. So once all of these old belief patterns and things fall away, this is the Ace of Swords is representing a new and stronger foundation for your thoughts, for your beliefs, so that you can, I had a whole vision of someone that was in a room full of people, and somebody says something, and you are well equipped to have a argument with somebody and have some kind of discourse with somebody on a certain topic, but you are whoever is talking to the other person, they are coming back with it's like a very strong argument. You're a good and patient arguer because you know what it's like to be on the other side. So I do feel like there's something that has to do with like these belief systems that are getting overturned so that you can turn around and help other people have the same kind of transformation. So I think that this is something that is very like, it's a detrimental part of your life path because it is going to help you kind of release other people of like old karma and old patterns and stuff, because you're going to know what it feels like to go through that transformation. With this Ace of Cups, I think that this is unrelated to anything else that's happened in this pile so far, but I do feel like this is emotional fulfillment that you're going to find. The phrase that just came to me was like the cup runneth over. You also could be coming from a Christian background or an Abrahamic faith in general, so that's Islam or Judaism as well. But there's something that has to do with you finding love within yourself, and for your own interpretation of the world and your own interaction with the world. But also this could be a significant relationship that's coming in because of the changes that you've made. So I do feel like you're somebody that has been alone for a while. You've been somewhat going like kind of battling on your own, so to speak. You've had a lot of things that you've had to go through, especially spiritually, that are by yourself. Even if you had people to reach out and talk to about this transformation that's happening, I feel like there's a certain amount of separation or isolation that happened for you where you were realizing, okay, I'm kind of doing things by myself right now. I have to figure this out and I have to kind of struggle through to do my own growth. And we're always going to have those periods in our life where even when we're surrounded by people, we feel like we are doing things by ourselves. So I think that that's what this Ace of Cups energy is. I think that that is you realizing, okay, maybe I don't have to be by myself anymore. Maybe I can open myself back up to love. And I think that that's also the spirit kind of extending their cup to you, saying, you know, you can ask for what you need. Like, you can indulge yourself in a healthier, like, romantic connection if that's something you're looking for. Or you are re-strengthening. If you're already in a relationship, you're re-strengthening that bond to love and opening yourself up to love within a connection. So I think that that's really beautiful energy, and that was a very exciting part of this grouping of cards for me to look at. And then we also have the Mother of Pentacles. So Queen of Pentacles to me is talking about our emotional self where it meets the physical. So I do think that because of these emotional changes, because of these belief systems that are changing, you're going to start going in the right direction. And I think also this is talking about career success. So all these spiritual changes are 100% bolstering your career path. So they are tied together. I think recently you've gone through a lot of spiritual change, and if you make these like belief system changes and find the proper information, I think that there's something about educating yourself on certain topics and certain things that you know you would benefit from learning that are going to help progress you into the right spaces career-wise. So the more information that we have on things that we're passionate about, the better that we can be in a career space. So I think that with this Mother of Pentacles, I think that you are going to be ultimately fulfilled career-wise, and whatever you've been doing in that realm is helping you. I think that there is just information that you can keep your eye out for so that you know that you are being fulfilled, like mental wise, like those thought forms are fulfilling to you and they're going to push you in the right direction. You have that belief about yourself that you can do what you need to do. I want to read to you what's on your oracle cards, so I'll show you them first and then I'll read the little blurbs at the bottom. So this says fertility and this one says healing. Okay, so fertility, this blue card, says the frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. So this is definitely you stepping into a new version of yourself. I feel like this is almost like when a snake sheds its skin and it has this new and fresh set of scales. Or do snakes even have scales? That's kind of wrong. I think they have skin. Wait, they have this new skin. They have this new like persona. They have a new energy. You are stepping into a higher frequency. You are moving into this more fulfilling energy. And you're seeing the reason why all these other things needed to exit your life and needed to kind of be shed. So I feel like this is also the possibility that you have to be able to envision a reality where you are fulfilled, where you are taken care of, where you feel all these wonderful things. So that's a beautiful energy to have. The last oracle card we have here is healing. So this one says, the frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. I think that this is also in response to the things that recently, like the changes that Spirit has made in your life. It's good for us to recognize when those have made us feel like grief, loss, those kind of emotions that result when we have changes, because we have a natural emotional response in this human form to the changes that are made in our life. And if we don't give those changes and those feelings the respect that they deserve, it's going to linger and we're going to have to deal with them again at a later state. So I do think that this is emotional healing. This is you possibly integrating all those different pieces of yourself and making sure that everything is in check. I think that this is a lot of a self-check for you. Understanding maybe like, because there's this green, is checking in with your heart, seeing how you feel, how things made you feel vulnerable and things like that. So I think also calling in protection is going to be helpful for you. Protecting your space, protecting your physical energy also is going to be very beneficial for you in the long run. So I do think that this will conclude your reading, pile 2. I was very honored and blessed to have read for you today. I want to thank your guides of higher wisdom, truth, compassion, and ultimate alignment for coming and facilitating this reading and helping me deliver the message to you. Otherwise, I will see you in another video, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye. Howdy, pile 3. If you selected pile 3, this is going to be your life path reading, and we're going to see if you're on the right life path, see where you're headed, what you can do to create more alignment in your life, and make sure that you are headed where you want to go. So I want to start with the cards that I have pulled for you, and the Devil card came out like right away for you, and I don't want that to make you nervous or disempowered at all, but I do think that this is a message about your spirituality on some level, a message about being having discernment about what you allow in your life, what you allow to influence you spiritually with this card right here. Because whenever a Devil card comes out, especially as the first card in a reading, I have some indication that there is something that is pervasive, in your life, an energy that kind of throws you off. There's something that you are possibly holding on to that belongs in another time period in your life. So I definitely think that these are not related to like career things. I don't think that this is like job or anything that you need to let go of, but I do think with this King of Pentacles here, this could have to do with like physical possessions. These could be things that you've been wanting to get rid of for a while that are like cluttering up your space for some of you. These could also be ideas about your career, or ideas about how much you have to work or what type of work you have to do in order to be a person of worth in a work environment. So I think that there's something about your career that you have a belief system that isn't really serving you, or you're holding on to certain objects and things that maybe don't serve you anymore. So I do think that this is a certain amount of like decluttering. This could also be decluttering the things that you like feed or intake into your body, so like the things you feed yourself, and the way that you have been treating your body in general. So that's also like exercise, seeing what serves you. Basically, I think that you need to like figure out a little bit more about your physical body, what you need, and what your space is demanding of you. Lastly, before I put these down, I do think that you are doing things correctly in terms of your career. So I think that this is representing abundance of like material things. I think that you have a lot of like money coming in. You have those resources that you need, like physically, that are going to get you to the place that you need. So if you've had any worry about like having a lack of things or being worried that you're not going to be taken care of, this is a message to you that you have everything that you need to succeed, and that your career and the things that you've been working on materially are for your greatest good. So I think that that's a really great way to be, like, energy to be aligned with and way to be headed for you career-wise. But then also with this Devil card, I didn't think that there was anything more from this, but I do think that there may be a relationship or something concerning an old relationship that is blocking your love life right now. So I do think that there may have been some relationship in the past that hurt you, that you haven't fully cleansed yourself of. You haven't fully ridden yourself from this connection, and that cord is still kind of giving you, like, if you're having memories about this connection, memories about like regarding that person, or you're having impulses to like reach out and talk to that person, I do think that a cord cutting ceremony might be good for you to kind of release that energy and just get rid of that stagnation that is going on. So there may be things that are clouding your future that are being held on to from your past, specifically around a relationship. And the reason why I think that there are some spiritual things that may need some re-examining here is because we have the Star card in reverse. So I do feel like the Star card is having hope for the future, seeing like a clear pathway of where you need to go. Also having that devotion to source, devotion, like that faith. It's the faith element of life, the blind acceptance that we are headed in a direction that is going to benefit us. And I think that you need to have a little bit more of that blind faith, more of that it's almost like blind optimism as well, like optimism that may be there without any evidence that you should have it. I don't usually advise that you have that like sort of blind faith when there's no reason to, but I think that Spirit has some wonderful surprises in mind for you, because we also have the Two of Cups here. So I really do think that you are drawing in something that is fulfilling. You are also going to have a lot of interactions with people in the coming month, I'm hearing, that is going to make you feel like hope in humanity again. And if you have been, because I have a feeling that you've had some, it's almost like stagnation in your life. Some things happened that have just made you kind of lose that spark for life. You don't feel as much excitement for the things that you usually would feel excited for. Things are a little bit more difficult to enjoy. And Spirit really wants you to have faith that there are good things that are going to happen, and that the work that you're doing to release things is for a reason. If you have been hesitating to let go of things that have previously served you, or you're worrying, okay, maybe I should go back, don't worry about that. Don't go backwards. Don't look backwards. Like, I'm getting the Bible story for some reason of when these people are running away from, I don't even remember where they're running away from, but one of them looks back and turns into a pillar of salt. That's the kind of thing that's going to happen. If you look back, you're just going to undo a lot of the things that you've been doing. So continue having faith that the inner work that you are doing is pushing you in the right direction and pushing you into the place where you are going to feel fulfilled, like this Two of Cups shows. And also the roses in the Two of Cups. Roses are the highest frequency of energy matter, like in terms of like flowers or like nature. So a lot of times that signifies joy, signifies emotional fulfillment, and that's why we give roses to each other in like a romantic relationship. You also have strength, and then the Wheel of Fortune and the Five of Wands. So I think again your spirit guides are just reiterating whatever you've come out of, a lot of the chaos, a lot of that difficulty, you're probably kind of in the thick of it. A lot of chaotic things or seemingly like unrelated to your spiritual path things are happening to you, and the more that you feed into lower frequencies or feed into like that frustration, that like self-pity as well is something that I feel like you may have issues with right now. The more that you feed into those old habits and those old patterns of the ways that you had habitually responded to situations is going to keep you in those old frequencies. The more that you have devotion, the more that you look out for the information that is going to help you and rewrite your thought patterns, the better that you are going to cultivate this feeling of emotional strength. And then here the rose shows up again. So it's that feeling, that joy. I do think that something that is going to help you have a really large emotional release is just letting yourself laugh. And I know that sounds silly, but I do feel like you need to laugh, pile 3. Like, I feel like there's so much tension for you. Like, get out there and dance. Put on a freaking crazy outfit one day and feel like a boss ass person. Like, get out there, and even if you're not even seeing very many people, like, just uplift yourself by doing those things that are like self-care and they make you feel good. So like, dance to a song you like too. That's something that is also coming out. And the Wheel of Fortune, I think again is showing like, I don't know if you see, this is like a mess. This is like a nest that is like not finished. But I do think that with this owl here, it's showing, and the moon, it's showing that there are things that are hidden, and there are reasons why certain things are happening in your life, and you're going to know later. I think that this is something that's being hidden from you purposefully right now to build this strength that you have, to build up your emotional self so that you can be resilient, so that you can see that the things that you go through, the difficult times in your life, are really just fuel on the fire for the moments where you are going to feel like $1,000,000. So I think that that is definitely coming. There is a lot of positive energy that is coming towards you, pile 3, and I think you just have to believe in it. Also, for your oracle cards, to finish this out, we have Authority and the Crown Chakra. So you are definitely getting a lot of information from your guides. You are seeking out the proper guidance. I feel like if you have been on a spiritual path for a while, maybe you're just realizing that this is another spiritual awakening part of your process, or you just had a recent like first spiritual awakening where you really opened yourself up to spirituality, you opened yourself up to divinity, and understood that you're a part of Source. We also have Authority here, so I do feel like somebody has a spirit guide that is very strong and is like, let me have the reins, stop trying to take back the wheel of your life, like, let me do a lot of things. And that's also why I think we have the Wheel of Fortune here. That's talking about inevitability, talking about fate, things happening that are kind of beyond our control. So allowing this authority figure, your spirit guides, to bring things to you instead of having to feel like you have to do all the work by yourself. Because if you think that you have to do all the work by yourself, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. You have a lot of spiritual guidance that is there for you. So otherwise, I think that that is going to conclude your reading, pile 3. I hope that that resonated. I hope that that helped to motivate you to see that there are positive things on their way to you. Otherwise, I was honored to read for you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye. I'll see you in another video.